Hello everyone. So today we're starting a new series about the community we have in Perth, Western Australia. So we're gonna start building decks with people that know them extensively. And today we start with Jordan. Hey Jordan.
How you going? My name is Jordan, also known as Templar98.
Yep. So
really excited to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about this as well, mate. It's gonna be great. So just walk us through what experience you have with the witch, and then how do you see it ranking and all that sort of stuff, if you want.
Yeah, awesome. So it's actually, she was my first avatar when I first started playing Sorcery back in October, I think it was, last year.
Yeah.
I saw her on a YouTube channel called Sorted Animals, and I know one of the guys that runs the channel really loves the witch, and he does a lot of videos on her. And then I sort of started taking my own spin on her, and she's served me pretty well since then. So I've played a few different versions of her as well, but usually we're going pretty aggro. So that's what we like to do.
What elements have you played? What combinations?
So I've definitely played the Fire Earth, which is kind of the standard Fury Road type build. But at the moment, I'm actually playing Fire and Air, which I'm having a lot of success with. She's very, very fast. And realistically, the only air spells that you have in the list at the moment, the ones that I'm playing, are Summoning Sphere and Lightning Bolt. But then, of course, you have the collection package, which gives you access to Zap and a few bits and pieces there. And that's a very aggressive list, which I like. I've also played Mono Fire, which is cool as well. I think Mono Fire is a little bit more of like a mid-rangey kind of deck. You have access to both of the Omphalos cards as well, like the Char and the Torrid. And then you can play bigger stuff as well, like Baylor of the Evil Eye and Infernal Legions and stuff like that. And you don't have to worry too much about the threshold, which I think is cool, but definitely leaning towards that Fury Road and then the Fire and Air as well. I think it gives you a little bit more flexibility even in the sites that you play as well.
It does. You have a bit more variety in the spells and minions. Yeah. So we're going to do Fire and Earth today because I also like that archetype. Fury Road has been the first deck I've ever played. And it's strong, you know, it's relentless, it kills, it disables, it stops, it buries, does pretty much whatever you want. There's some new spells that came out. There's a spell that I really like in Gothic, Onslaught, which is the best gacha card. I think is underplayed, or maybe it's played a bit more now, I'm not sure, but I've been really hammering that spell every time I can. So we're just going to try to build a deck with that in there. So let's start with the cards that we know will be in the deck. I think it's good to start with the shell. So what do you think?
I think cards that you can't really go past in like a major fire, like a majority fire list, probably starting off with like Jihad.
Yep.
I think it's, especially for an aggressive deck, I think you want to be playing as aggressively as you can, and Jihad just allows you to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great option to start with.
So we'll put one Jihad. Do we put one Crusade?
Yeah. I mean, I've played a version where it's a little bit more sort of 50-50, and I have played Crusade.
Okay.
I've definitely had more success with like I was saying, like a fire majority.
More fire minion.
Fire minions are typically the ones that give you the most aggression, and combining with her 2 life drain a turn, it can be very, very devastating.
More payoff, like we're thinking kobolds, dragonets maybe.
Definitely.
So I'll put kobolds in there straight away because I think you can't really do without them. We'll put 3 copies, maybe we'll trim later. We can also put dragonets.
Yeah.
Dragonets are great. 3.
Dragonets have become really good at dealing with things like skeletons, foot soldiers,
ward,
and with the addition of the Gift of the Serpent now, they've become an even bigger threat, which I love. So definitely big on Colony Dragonets.
Let's put Gift of the Serpent as well because I like that tech. Dragonets are great for warded minions as well, because you don't need to spend
definitely.
resource to pop wards on bigger minions, like Raphael and all those that can be quite threatening.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a good start already. Let's continue in the minions maybe. We've got 6 so far. Do we put a Giantess in there? Sleeping Giantess?
Yeah, Giantess is good. Definitely, like if you're playing Deserts, that's a real easy 3-mana 5/5.
That's right. Go with 3. We can always go back and trim.
Yeah, of course, I'd probably be playing a playset of Violence as well. You can never go wrong with the Violence there.
They're good finishers. They're very good at popping ward as well. We'll put 4. We'll see if we remove any.
Yeah.
We're up to 13 minions already. Pretty good start.
Are
we putting root spiders?
Definitely an option. I think I have been discovering very rapidly the power of root spiders. I've been playing a few different lists with this minion, and he's worth his weight in gold. That's for sure.
It is a crazy minion. It's really hard to counter unless you manage to flood or you run one of the few spells that location instead of target and so on. So it's always a pain in the butt to deal with the spiders.
Yeah, definitely. I think a minion that I pretty much staple into most of my witch lists is Morgana, and I think that's just going with fire in general.
Any fire deck nowadays would run Morgana, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, you can talk forever about Morgana, but everyone said everything there is to say. So
absolutely, draw 3 on Genesis is mental. Being able to keep stealthy if you need to, it's as you said,
pretty good.
Not much else to say about Morgana. Do we put Baylor?
She's good for positional spells as well. So
that's right. Yeah. Being a spellcaster, you can put that deep into your opponent's realm and then start blasting. Do we put Baylor? I like Baylor. I think Baylor is strong.
Baylor's cool, definitely. Bit of a higher cost, and this is where I think I'll follow up with the witch. You kind of don't want to draw sights too often.
Yeah.
So I think it's important when you're playing, especially a Fire Earth list. I've always played either Kettletop Leprechaun or Land Surveyor.
Yeah.
And I think they're pretty important to sort of keep the momentum of just drawing a spell every turn as opposed to going in for a sight. Playing like your higher costed minions definitely gives you like that bomb threat like towards the late game, which is great. But building around that so you don't have to draw as many sights throughout the game gives you that advantage of always having pressure, which I think is really important with the witch because she doesn't have any card advantage built in or anything like that. So you need to be, I've really loved either Kettletop or Land Surveyor, and really it's whether you prioritize the 2 power versus the 1 power and sort of getting it straight away, or the Death Right, and depends on what you want to go for, really.
That's right. I've dabbled a little bit. I built a list last week, as I was mentioning.
Yeah.
I found that you do not want to tap your avatar to draw a sight, or it's something that has to be automated through minions, like Frontier Settlers, even that aura that came out through Gothic. Sword of the Earth, I think, is great because it doubles your mana, your threshold. It has 3 Earth threshold, which can be a bit problematic depending how you build your mana base. But I totally agree on that. It's you want to use the other abilities of your avatar, going aggro or stall with the +1 cost and all that sort of stuff. So maybe Kettletop you mentioned. I like those.
Yeah.
I think they're good blockers.
Kettletop is cool, definitely.
Yeah, it can be fetched as well in the collection. So I like to have 1 spare in the collection and then like a couple in the main deck. Yeah. Frontier Settlers I think is great as well. Even though it's a little bit like a Pathfinder, if you blocked, his ability doesn't really work. But it's a good starting minion in your hand. So we'll add that for now, and then we'll see if we come back to 3 as well. Do we want to keep our curve quite low with the witch avatar? Is that something you try to
Generally speaking, yeah, that's what I try to do. I will cap out at around 4 costs, and then maybe splash in 1 to 3, 5 and 6 cost spells.
Yeah.
Just to keep that consistency and have that like sort of low curve, aggressive. Make sure that you're not drawing too many huge spells.
Yeah.
Usually, with the witch, when you get to turns 5 and 6, and you have 5 to 6 mana out, you can start double spelling as well, which is kind of important, especially if you drop, like we were talking before, you drop a Colicky Dragonets with a Gift of the Serpent to take out a threat, or you have an infiltrate that you can sort of utilize and like infiltrate something and play something with charge and then attack. So I try to keep the curve quite low when building witch decks for sure. It does help in being able to cast all your spells and getting the game over as quickly as possible, which is kind of the goal with the witch.
That is definitely the main objective, is just not have games to drag out, let ourselves being controlled. Water is very good at stalling, disabling and all that sort of stuff. So we want to avoid all of this. Usually by countering with Root Spiders of ours, or just going face straight away. And then
definitely. I think a minion that we can probably auto include here as well is Saracen Raiders. I think that's I think they're awesome.
Being able to charge straight away without without location issues, usually, because you always find a site that is not occupied, at least early game.
Early game, for sure. You always get at least one free attack with Saracen before they start worrying about it and
that's it.
Putting minions in place.
Absolutely. Maybe we should look at a few spells to support those minions. Probably a Firebolt. I think it's staple of fire. Being able to have 3 projectiles going through.
Yeah, the individual shots, they'll take out multiple tokens.
That's right.
Frogs. Wards, all that stuff. So I really like Firebolts as an option for sure. I usually run at least 3 in my lists.
I do 2, 3 in the main deck, 1 in the collection. That situational spell comes in very handy as well. Just as you said, get rid of skeleton in the way, or pop a ward, and then have an infiltrate or something that targets being able to go through is massive. And it's cheap, sure. It's a 2 cost spell, so it's really cheap for the effect it has. We'll put a couple of onslaughts on there as well. I think 2 is decent. 3 might be it depends. Like, I think it really depends on what sort of meta you're playing. Being immobilized, silence, and all it's pretty backbreaking, especially early game when you're trying to, as we say, we try to close very quickly. If it starts stalling, it's really backbreaking. Yeah. So being able to gacha your opponent and get out of the snare is pretty massive, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's honestly not a card that I've played with in a wish list yet. But the more I look at it and the more I've seen the work it's done in other decks, I think it could definitely find its place in this aggro list, especially like we mentioned before with all the Root Spiders and Gargantulas running around. It could definitely find a home in these aggro lists. Just being able to break away from all that and just get a big attack in, I like it.
Yeah, people don't expect this, like they're still in that phase of discovery about the spell, and it's something I really like to catch people off guard with. Is there any other spells on top of your head that you think definitely has a spot on there?
I like a couple. I like Warp Spasm, Gigantism, and Infiltrate. I think those three are sort of staples in my lists, being the aggressor. Gigantism is another really good one that sort of catches people off guard.
Correct.
Because they, for example, you play a village, you make a soldier, and they're not really worried about it, so they kind of leave it alone, or they move out of the way, and then you just go, cool, gigantism, smack for 7, and it's, all of a sudden that soldier's pretty scary. So,
You said Warp Spasm. What do you think about Blaze of Glory?
I play both.
You would put both. Okay.
Yeah, I do. I like both. I think Warp Spasm gives you a little bit more damage output, and Blaze of Glory is kind of more of a finisher. And sort of like a path clearer sort of thing.
That's it.
So I definitely like both in my lists.
Blaze of Glory reminds me of more like Whirling Blade in the sense that you try to get the maximum out of this when you play it. Warp Spasm can just be played on one minion. You double its power. It's going to get big. It's going to do some damage somehow. Blaze of Glory, you try to have a setup and then do maximum damage either to multiple minions, so minion and avatar, But having both, obviously, the redundancy in aggro list is massive because you just want to not let your opponent have answers, basically, I think. Like, I've played Flamecaller for so long. It's about giving an option without having a solution. Are you going to kill my minion, which I can then recycle, or are you just going to take the damage, etc., etc.?
Yeah.
These aggro lists is all about suffocating your opponent. Yeah.
The philosophy with the witch as well, like you mentioned, I've heard a few people talk about it, and then I discovered it in playing games with her, is as long as your minion gets one attack off and you drain that turn, the minion has done its job. It doesn't matter if it dies because you're going to have more minions to follow up, more charge to follow up. You're definitely going to get more hits in. So as long as your minion gets like one attack off, it's doing its job, and the card is worth the card. You know what I mean? So Warp Spasm being the card that sort of doubles that is pretty important, especially like it paired with cards like Tor's Hammer Trinket as well. Yes. So you play the Tor's Hammer Trinket first and then Warp Spasm, and it gets even bigger, and just a snowball effect, It's very good.
Absolutely. Something we haven't mentioned about Onslaught, I keep banging on about that spell, but it also gives +1 power and charge, which, in aggro deck, it just kind of, sells itself, basically. +1 power is huge already. We're playing auras that give +1 as well, but charge to me is absolutely crazy. Give charge to your kobolds, it does a lot of damage. Plus a trinket, it's 3 attack +3 at the end of the turn. It's crazy. +4 actually even.
Yeah. Also, the charge keyword is like the best you can have for aggro. There's no other keyword that compares in an aggro list. So
that's right.
Definitely very good.
We have no airborne there. Do we want an Ifrit or demon of some sort, maybe?
Yeah, Ifrit's a very good shout. I think having also the 4 power is really important now, especially with Gothic and all their sort of big minions. And if your opponent plays like a Lugbog Cat or an Autumn Unicorn, if you don't have anything to sort of deal with it straight away, you're kind of stuck behind a wall, and because a lot of your minions are 2 and 3 power. So I think Ifrit's a very good shout.
And also a lot of people are a bit iffy, the 2 life and all that sort of stuff. We use life as a resource because we don't want the game to drag out. So as you said, your minion comes in, it has an impact. It draws maybe a removal spell from your opponent, and if it doesn't, it can attack with Airborne, which is threatening. It's a 4 power for 3. We know how strong these minions are, like the Unicorn in Earth or the Giantess if you wake her up. Being able to draw card disadvantage of some sort from your opponent is massive to me. I'm like losing two life point, honestly. It's
definitely. I think you hit the nail on the head there. The worst case scenario for an Ifrit is it takes a kill spell out of your opponent's hand, and best case you get to smack him for 4.
We'll put 2. We'll put the trinket because we mentioned it a couple of times.
Very good card.
We'll go with 3.
I think. Yeah, I usually go about 2 or 3 depending on the list, but yeah, 3 is good. They're never really a dead card in your hand because you can stack as many as you want on a minion. So I do like 2 or 3 for sure.
Exactly, and then it can be removed basically. It's once you have it on hand, that's it. It's there forever.
Yeah, it's just additional damage every turn, which I find very helpful. Minion I think that we didn't mention was red cap parries.
Yeah, I
think red caps. I think that's a very important minion.
Yep, that's it. Charge. I found that red caps are good to play as a solution to a problem, not to play on board like this. It's more something came up that I need to deal with. A little bit like you play Violet Imp sometimes, either to finish a minion or to break the first layer of defense somehow. I've always played these sort of minions to finish something or to put an additional threat at the end of my turn, rather than just play it on board and then potentially expose it to a firebolt or a very small spell like this that just can get rid of it. We haven't put any Land Surveyor.
Land Surveyor is good if you're doing bigger spells, just making sure that you hit your land drops without either drawing them or tapping your avatar.
Yeah, and you can also notice that our Earth minion are obviously on the lowest end of the curve. That 2 cost. So they, as you said earlier, there are minions that once they're done their job, they just act as meat shield of some sort. You don't really expect them to do damage. You sort of have them floating around your avatar, blocking bigger threats or something like this. You're not sending them to the front because they're pretty useless. Realistically, the 2 power, they're not going to do much.
Yeah, definitely playing defense and also protecting from like a lightning bolt as well. Just
correct.
Forcing your opponent to have a 50-50 or a 33% chance if you have a couple of minions on board with your avatar. It just helps, especially if if you go to door and stuff. It just mitigates how many things they can do to like kill you. So
that's right.
Yeah, very good.
Better odds. I can't play any list without the ring. I know it's a bit of a easy take to do that. It comes up. It has to be removed as someone steals it.
I think the ring is played a little bit differently now, though. If you see water, that's the only time that you kind of hold it as a little bit of maybe like a Death's Door finisher or something. And there's a lot of times where I've played against water that I might even have it in my opening hand and I won't mulligan it. I'll keep it, but I won't play it straight away. I'll just sort of hang on to it and see how the game goes. And if I have like a turn where I can utilize it, great. If not, I'll wait for like Death's Door and then play it and finish. So
it's
the
ring is a stressful card in my opinion because you want to hang on to it. You don't want it to be destroyed. You don't want it to be stolen. A swap will be devastating. Is there any other artifacts that you can't play without?
I think toolbox.
Yeah.
2 minimum, 3 is usually the correct amount.
Maybe we can start building the collection if we have a toolbox in there. So we have 1 solo Kettletop Leprechaun in there.
Yeah, Firebolts. I definitely like Firebolts as one of the finishers. And I think Flame Strike is one of my favourite Death's Door finishers. The fact that it deals damage to everything at those locations is really important, and being able to have a spread like it does, that 1 damage across the top T, I think is very powerful.
The issue with most of the fire spells is that they're linear spells. So if your opponent has a way to block, like a Conqueror Worm in front of the avatar, you'll never get through.
Exactly.
It's 8 power. You don't got to cast like 3 fireball to get rid of 1 minion. So you got to work around. And then having Flame Strike like this, as you said, gives you a better chance at positioning, I think. And look, being a location spell, one of the few, is huge. Get rid of root spiders. Yeah. Minor Explosion is a decent one as well.
Yeah. It's a good one to sort of clear out those pesky necromancer skeletons.
2 steps away is a bit of a drawback sometimes, because it's not as far as you think. It's a decent spell. Being a bit of a splash damage like that is great.
Yeah, I really like Angry Mob. Angry Mob sort of deals with a lot of annoying elites and uniques that you can. They can stop you in your tracks with the aggression. Like if someone drops like a Lord of Lies or anything like that. They're very hard to deal with. They're very hard to overcome, and then you need to have an answer to it. Otherwise, you kind of just lose the game.
It's almost one of minion that I consider having in main decks now because of Michaels and Rasputin as well. That just keeps coming back. You trade a unique minion that has to banish to survive for an ordinary minion. That has a Genesis effect. That's a good trade-off in my books.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree with Angry Mob as well. Genesis effect that removes something is, in general, pretty strong. We adding Gargantula in our main deck list. I love that spell.
I like it too. I've been a very big Gargantula fan since I started playing my Imposter deck. It's been an MVP. 3 Earth threshold is it's a considerable amount of threshold. But you also have access to sites like Fertile Earth and stuff like that. So I think you can if you lean into the Earth a little bit. Yeah.
Let's add it for now. We'll go back to it if we think our mains can handle it. But multiple threshold minions and spells are less scary than before, I think, as you mentioned double threshold sites. Best thing they've ever thought about. Everybody's Gothic was just double threshold sites. That was the one key element that we were missing, and then it just opens up a lot more of riskier play or considered risky before, and now it's just
high risk, high reward plays. That's for sure.
Very much. I think
Disenchant is a good one.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have no aura removal, so.
Dispel is the I think. I like having Dispel and Jester Rock as 2 different options.
Okay.
But 2 Dispel works just as good, I guess.
Jester Rock targeting artifacts.
That are being carried.
So it wouldn't work on anything static like Amphalos and stuff. There's also an artifact that's getting a lot of spotlight. It's the Arbaleth at the moment with Persecutor, which can really pump a lot of damage very quickly. If you get branded evil, it gets out of hand pretty quickly. So Juster Rock, I think, is a good answer to that.
Berry is a good clean kill spell. And I've also been enjoying a Flayer as an additional minion to sort of deal with wards, 1/1s, dealing a bit of extra damage. I think they're pretty good. There are a couple of options that we can consider.
Yeah, I like the Flayer. I don't like it enough to have it in the main deck list, but it's a very good collection option. Just for the fact that if there's nothing around it doesn't do much basically, but if you play against Necro, it's you're not making skeletons sort of mob that you have on the board. So it's pretty good. I was saying that
also very good Savior as well.
So no, it's true because they'll remove most of the wards all the time. I was running a couple of silver bullets in that witch list that I've had. just to have a lot more juice in the collections. To have another onslaught, to have the rolling boulder, all that sort of heavy finishers in there that that your opponent won't be able to deal with. Basically, you send the rolling boulder, that's it. In the same sense as snowball in water is also a great finisher because it's inevitable. Basically, you know, no matter what you have in front of your avatar, well, it's over. You know, it's preferences. I never really played with Silver Bullet before. Just there's a couple of reasons. The fact that you have to tap your avatar to sacrifice it, to me, it's huge. It's a massive drawback as opposed to toolbox. Because that just means you're doing one thing for the turn, or almost.
I think if you're going to lean into the Silver Bullet play, I think having stuff like villagers in your Atlas to be able to make minions to play the Silver Bullets too, and have spare to be able to cast those spells, because you really want to keep your avatar to sort of be able to drain every turn and not take a turn off.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I haven't thought about this. I usually pin it to my avatar out of habit, I think. Because the toolbox and stuff, you know, I think it's just purely out of habit, but it's a very good point. You don't have to. Can be on a little token that just, you know, it's just there.
Of course, with minions, you want to be like, you know, high power minions, you kind of want to be attacking as well. So building that little token package is pretty useful if you want to go with Silver Bullets. Because, I mean, exceptional cards are fantastic and they're going to be more powerful than your ordinaries. So you can even put stuff like Poison Nova and all that in your collection, which I think is powerful. But it takes a bit of, you know, tweaking in the list to make it work.
That's right. It's more expensive. It's more of a panic button rather than a 1-2 punch that you can have with toolbox. You know, it's definitely in a sense that the panic button, as I was putting it on the avatar, having it to tap for it was most of the time making me just rethink it and just cutting it eventually. It's too big of a cost. All right, so we have one more card for the collection. I'm sure we'll get to this eventually. So we can probably either trim or start to add and then look at 4 Violin is maybe a bit too much in the main list, but we can have one in the collection.
Yeah, I think Violin in the collection is pretty smart.
It's a good finisher as well. We have all the good spells already. 3 Gifted the Serpent. Now we're being cheeky and putting 4. We have Cobalt for the Gift of the Serpent.
Oh, yeah. I usually run 2 or 3. I think they're great cards, and I love that they recycle themselves, like they give you the card back. Sometimes if you draw it instead of a minion when you need a minion, it's a little bit bad. So usually I go for about 2 or 3, which I think is like a sweet spot.
Okay. And we already have 13 spells, which is quite a lot for aggro list, I think. As you said, you want to draw your minions and have them on the board doing something. We have 34 minion. Could probably go a bit higher, I think. 3 Giantess, I think, is probably a bit overkill. We probably only need maybe 2, even 1 maybe. We'll go to 2 for now. We have the Raiders. Do we add 1 Cavalry? They're very similar.
Yeah, they are. I think a couple of good minions as well, off the top of my head. Monstrous Lion is a pretty good one to have, again, being a 4 power minion. Kind of the drawback is a little bit heavy with not being able to attack sites and not being able to deal that direct damage. But that's maybe an option. And I think in a list like ours, Boudica wouldn't be a bad shout either.
We don't have any bombs so far in our list. So we definitely need some threats. Not that we don't have any, but things that, you know, force the opponent of removing. So Infernal Legion to me is one of the minion that you have to remove, especially if you, if you send it over with a jihad or something like this. It's a oh shit moment, definitely. Baylor
Yeah,
as well.
definitely.
Baylor, same vein, same cost, same effect, almost
Yeah,
probably even like more powerful than the Legion because you can hit under sights as well. What do you think,
yeah.
Baylor?
I think Baylor, maybe even 1-1. Like
Yeah,
if you, we have a pretty heavy site draw package with the kettle tops and the land surveyors.
yeah.
I think Baylor, maybe one Baylor and one Infernal Legion
Oh,
isn't a
yeah.
mistake in a list like this. Um, Having a few real big threats is good, especially they go toe to toe with minions like Lord of Lies and
Yeah,
just bigger minions like that.
that's right.
I think they're pretty good. They'll block an archangel as well.
They
You
would
know, the archangels
absolutely.
can't get past that. So
Yeah, that's too true.
yeah,
Michael and all have been pretty recurrent now. It's just something that you will
yeah,
expect now in most
yeah.
decks, I think. Gabrielle maybe a little less, but you definitely
Mm,
see the Waterborne Raphael and then Michael being crazy.
yeah,
There is another
Michael's.
spell we haven't really talked about is Betrayal, which
Yeah,
is infiltrate but a bit more expensive. Is it worth running in your opinion?
I've tried Betrayal, and I think I prefer Infiltrate.
Yeah,
I run Infiltrate pretty consistently in my wish lists. Just more so, sometimes it's not even about like taking the minion and dealing damage with it. It's just about getting that minion out of the way to get an additional punch of damage. So Betrayal doesn't really do that in the sense that you have to like you gain control for it.
a
You gain
turn.
control of the minion for that turn, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure, and
just a
then
turn.
that's it. You know what I mean? So I do like infiltrate in the
Yeah,
sense that you infiltrate, and even if you can't get it out of the way that turn, you can sort of hold it and then move and then clear a pathway. Sort of,
that's right.
yeah. I do like infiltrate over betrayal.
Yeah.
But both are probably decent in their own regard.
Infiltrate is more akin to ad removal, I think. Whereas
Mm,
betrayal is just temporary. You can it's gonna backfire. Um, like infiltrate is on the same vein as polymorph and all of this. The minion is gone basically. Like, and if
yeah,
it's gonna be used to attack your own unit, other units, and it's good as gone basically. So
yeah,
whereas betrayal, there's always the chance that it backfires really.
yeah,
Alrighty, we have 36 minion. Do we put another Gargantula in there?
yeah. Two. I'd
Put
be
two.
playing a playset for sure.
Yeah,
If you're going to play him, play him.
that's right. I love that thing.
Yeah,
It's just it just the fact that it wraps it up and then have another unit having to basically get on the same square, then tap. It's just asking too much.
yeah.
the,
Oh,
the
definitely.
minion
I
speed is
don't think
gone.
I've ever seen a. I don't think I've ever seen a minion disabled from Gargantula be undisabled. Like it just doesn't happen.
That's it. It just it's good as gone. So
Especially because it actually drags it to the location.
that's
If
right.
it was disabled on their side of the
Yeah,
board,
yeah,
it'd be a little bit less powerful.
that's
But
right.
because it drags it to your side of the board, it's even harder for them to get their tap, and it's a whole thing, you know. So I love it. I
Very
love
true.
Gargantula.
Talking about dragging, are we putting a butcher in there?
Pudge is
Little,
one that I've also played around with a little bit. I think people have more luck with Pudge Butcher against me than I do with Pudge Butcher against people. I've never had great
yeah,
games
okay,
with him,
yeah.
but yeah, you can definitely get some really gross
Oh yeah,
turns off with him.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Pudge butcher is
having power smack is very very good.
that's right. Yeah, Pudge butcher is almost forced movement for your opponent. I've played extensively with it because when Sorcery came out, there wasn't many minions that were on par with it, and the moment it was played, you could see your opponent trying to move around and not being the firing line. And Pudge Butcher is amazing for this because you plonk it in the middle of the board, and then you will see your opponent, start squirming and be like, "Oh no! If I go there, I'm gonna get in a firing line. If I go there, I'll get blasted." And just for this, I think it's worth running. It's a threat in its own category. It's pretty funny to play, I think.
Yeah, it definitely gives. It's almost like that. It's almost like that. The saying of when someone drops the roots of Yggdrasil, they might not have a way to destroy it, but it makes you play differently. Like it becomes really annoying, especially if you're playing. Like for me, I've been pudged so many times playing my Avatar of Air, and it just turns her off. Like she cannot do anything. You know what I mean? Like I can't get out of the way. I can't. Yeah, it's very difficult to deal with. So
turn your avatar into a bag of sand. Is there anything you think we should cut, maybe, or tweak or modify in there?
I really like Earthquake. Even if you're versing water decks, you don't necessarily have to use the berry ability. You can just use the rearrange and get your opponent's avatar in line of like Violimps and Quarrelsome Kobolds and all that kind of stuff. That's something that I would probably consider in a Fury Road style list. But I do like most of the stuff that we have in this list already. I think it's looking very powerful. And it's looking very, very aggressive too.
It's very in your face already. So if we add spells now, we'll have to start cutting. So we've added Earthquake. I think we have one too many Land Surveyor in there, or Frontier Settler, either or. Maybe Settler, I think. Being a tap ability, can probably take one out.
I like Settlers in more like Earth-based, like big rampy type decks. I think Kettletop and Land Surveyor are probably better suited to an aggro list where you kind of just want the site straight away. But even the 2 threshold is sometimes a little bit of a liability. But if we lean into that in the Atlas, I think we can get away with it. But something to consider.
Maybe get rid of Minor Explosion and then get a landmass instead. I like the card advantage. Landmass is just, I don't think, not broad or good enough to be in any main deck list that doesn't want to ramp too much. But it's a good fetchable spell, I think.
Just having the option there is probably a good idea.
All right, let's build an Atlas, see how we fare. So double threshold, obviously. So Fertile Earth.
You don't want to be stuck on threshold. You definitely want to be able to cast your spells.
That's right. We'll put 3 of those. The other one is Volcano Summon.
Active Volcano.
We'll put 3. So that's it for that. We'll put Glass on Buried Tor as well, I suppose. Being a tri-site and is pretty decent. Ruins as well. Is it? No, Step.
Step.
Yeah, Step. Step 3.
Step is, fun fact, Step is my favourite curio of all time. I absolutely love that curio. I don't think they've made anything as cool as that since beta.
It's true. It's a nice one, and then when you see it in real life, like, wow, this is really you can understand the painting a bit behind as well. It's nice. All right, so we have the very obvious ones.
I think the most important site, besides the threshold and everything, I think for the Witch, River of Blood. I don't think, in my experience, River of Blood is the most important site for the Witch because one, divine healing, and you are so behind. It's yeah, it's very, very hard to deal with any sort of healing
It's a rough
with
spell
the
for
witch.
us. Divine healing is being made unique in most like sanctioned tournaments. Let's call it
Yeah,
that for a reason, because it's just too backbreaking. If you manage to
yeah.
recur it with Archie and all, it's just it's over. It's not even fun to play against. It's over. So you just wait to die. So yeah, I agree. River of
Yeah.
Blood is pretty good for this. Do we want River of Flame?
River of Flame is a good one, especially in fire. Like a minion that I've sort of toyed around with as well on this same vein is Flaming Skull.
Yep.
Purely because I think fire spells you need to have position. You need to have a good way to get off a really good Fog Bolts, Flame Strike, or whatever it is. The lava flow.
Yeah.
Being in fire and having all these positional based damage spells, I think River of Flame is a pretty good shout, especially in a list that doesn't have a lot of spellcasters. I think it could be a good one to add.
Gives you options, yeah, definitely. As we talked about it earlier, a lot of spells are just directs and stuff, and in a straight line.
Yeah.
So you have to find ways to go around this for sure. Yeah, we have all of that. Do we want to put a haystack in there just in the off chance that you get someone that likes to dig around in the deck, like browse and stuff like this?
Yeah,
I think just
haystack's a pretty good one.
Yeah, just a one. I don't think it really earns its multiples, but it's good to have.
Yeah.
Never a dead card, I think.
Poison Well is another good one for the witch, especially you always take more life loss.
Absolutely, yeah. It's
more damage to them.
It's good, absolutely. There's one site that I've started playing with regularly as well is Boulevard of Bones. Just for all the tokens that it makes, basically.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed to have at least a couple of tokens made out of it. And yeah, it's pretty strong. We mentioned earlier, like having options to, add your toolboxes or, all that sort of stuff, your silver bullets, on tokens.
Yeah.
Having little mid shields every now and then protect your avatar
blockers
as well. Yeah, absolutely.
More bodies spread out across the board for gigantism as well. Like I think you're not going to see gigantism every game, but when you do, it's so good that you want to be prepared to have at least one good hit. It can very easily put your opponent's door out of nowhere as well. So Boulevard of Bones and Villages and stuff are very good. Yeah.
Adding a bit of risky take sites as well. Like, what's your maybe site?
Well, I think with the Slumbering Giantess, we want to have a number of deserts, at least 4 to 6, because you don't want to be stuck with a giantess that just kind of sits there.
Correct.
So Arid Desert, I always play Arid Desert because I really like the skull that's on the artwork, but you can play any deserts really.
We got 6 deserts. What do you do? Do we try the one that removes ward nearby? Was it too situational?
Yeah, I think it's a bit too. I think the regular deserts just do that better.
Guaranteed effect.
Plus, it gives you the option of finishing off a minion that you've hit for a certain amount of damage, or killing a 1/1. Or I prefer those types of deserts for sure. Vindictive Nation is probably a good one as well, with all the big earth decks trying to earthquake you, or Mover of Mountains, or all that kind of stuff, and then Atlantean Fate as well. Vindictive Nation is definitely a really good one for the Witch as well, because you want to try and get as much damage in as possible, and if they try and destroy anything, they're just taking 7 to the face, which is awesome.
Yeah. It's another one maybe of this site's a spell that acts on the what if that happens sort of thing. So your opponent is put into a position to work around it. I've never had any payoff off that site. Realistically, it's included in most of my lists, but I've never seen it work. Basically, either don't draw it, or when it's on there, I'm already either dead or I've won, or so I've never really had any interaction with it. But I know it's a very good psychological spell because
you're exactly right. It's that psychology. You need to have. You need to play the psychology game with your opponents.
It's true. It's something that we don't mention in Sorcery often, but the strategy side is huge. It also goes about what you could do, and then the impact you have, obviously, because it's real, but what could happen, and then try to think a bit, like a turn ahead and stuff like this. It's something I don't think Sorcery players talk too much about it. They try to build control lists and stuff like this, but they don't say why. They don't try to explain the game plan on more than a couple of turns.
Yeah,
and I think it's intended in the game design, to have that chess-like mind, and what if you position yourself there? Could that happen? Or is he going to steal my minion, etc., etc.?
Yeah, so the Sorcery is an incredible game like that. It's like one of the very few card games where every single tiny decision matters, like where you place a side, where you play your minion. It's not like other card games where you kind of just play it on the board.
All right, we have 3 more sites. I can't really think about any obvious now anymore. Like, we have a direct damage. Is it Cursed Lands? Yeah, whenever another site is played nearby, its controller loses 2 life. Elite.
Yeah.
Do we put 1 off?
Yeah.
Extra damage?
Yeah, that could be... I've actually never played with this card in a wish list, and I could see it being very good.
Yeah, just...
I also see you yourself taking a lot of damage with it, but at the same time, it'd be good for you. Your opponent would be taking, like if you had it in the front position, they'd probably be taking at least 4 to 6 damage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You build your back row in the meantime. You put that on turn 3. Build your back row. Yeah, that's a good one. I put 1. Do you want to go 2?
No, yeah. I think 1's pretty I think 1's pretty good just to test it out. One thing that we haven't touched on in the Atlas is some cemetery hate.
Yeah.
However, in a list like the Witch, where you're trying to just be aggressive, and I don't know, I've never really had too many issues with decks like Death Speaker and Archimago, because they're kind of trying to go a little bit longer and a bit more control-y.
They will do it regardless, no matter how many times you remove cards and Pile of Theros and all. It's great because you gain life out of it, but they're all strategies based around filling up the graveyard. Whereas you have 1 or 2 sites, which is a 10% max probability of drawing it and interacting with it.
I think the only real site that you can play to really stop those types of lists is Core Crematory.
That's a good one, actually.
It's one of those things where it's like, you draw 1 in every, 7, 8 games, because it's unique. So you might not draw it against the Archie player, but you'll draw it against, I don't know, Avatar of Air, which they don't do anything in their graveyard. So
it's true, But when it does, it hoses entirely the strategy. Like it's over. You don't touch it. Yeah. That's actually a good counterpoint of what we've been saying. It's these sites, if you have to run one, I think would be this one.
It would be that one, correct. It'd be the best one for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we want that site that turns into an 8/8 at some point after God knows how many threshold? Is it too mimicky?
I have to be 100% honest. I've not played with many manlands, as they used to be called in MTG. I've not played with a lot of manlands in Sorcery, so I wouldn't be able to give my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I've had a Leviathan smack me for 8 though, which was pretty brutal.
I think this is the one the system must play. I have it in my Modern Water Ironclad as well, just because I get to 8 rather easily, and it's just a tank. Basically it's eight that is positioned already.
We definitely have one in here.
Endless Fence as well. A bit on what if my opponent plays Voidwalk minions and stuff, but I know it's decent. Like, you sort of hamper your adversary to get a bit too close. I had the one that forces your opponent to not play minion on it. What's it called? No Man's Land or something.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So this one is quite interesting in a sense that you sort of funnel your minions and the opponent minions as well into a specific area. And that was great for Enchantress because you put your auras there and they basically can't interact anymore. They're in that, defense off like this and they just get smacked. I'm not too sure if it works in that sort of archetype though. Can't summon minion to there. I think it works against us more than anything.
I think you kind of want to free up your lane so you have as many attacking options as possible. But in the Enchantress, makes a whole lot of sense.
It is crazy. And then people were like, what is this site? I'm like, hang on.
Wait for it.
Here comes the explanation. And that works pretty well. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
We have one more. I think we should try to put a risky one. All right. We said no to the wards. Altas of Malachi is the one that if you sacrifice a minion, you don't die. Impenetrable Corpse. We didn't touch about the Numb Hollows and all of that. It's true. Or Field of Camlands as well. Field of Camlands is good.
I'm very much enjoying that card at the moment. Very much enjoying
Field
that
of Camland it is?
Yeah. It's a very good one.
Let's add one of those.
I like the additional piece of inbuilt control that it gives. It's very,
That's right.
Very, very good.
I've always liked sites that do a massive effect without having to pay for it. It's just like a requirement of some sort. Usually it's threshold or positioning and stuff. But having a board wipe on a site like this is just mental. It's crazy.
It's very, very good. I think it's honestly underrated how good it actually is. I don't see a lot of people play it, and I think it's just...
It is played, but it doesn't come up that often, I think.
Yeah.
Mount Ossa Sanctuary as well. Being able to be teleported and warded is no small feat, I think, given we're quite fragile in all reality, We're pretty prone to get a smack.
Yeah.
Rift Valley. I'm very partial to Rift Valley just because you can have your minion all the way up your opponent's site without having to build, connecting sites. I think this is pretty decent. I'll probably put one. We pretty much have, I think, all the most important ones. Smokestack's probably going to work against us. Temple of Moloch is good. Sacrifice a minion, gain 2. It's a pretty powerful effect, realistically, given we don't really want to, spend too much time thinking about mana. And
definitely, it can definitely give you those turns where you can, like say you've had Boulevard of Bones out for a few turns, and then you play the Temple, and you can have turns where you gain a bit of extra mana and like double spell or drop an Infernal Legion or something.
Yeah.
Temple of Moloch is pretty cool.
We have to cut 3 now. We'll probably cut a step because we're not looking too bad. It looks pretty even. Possibly one of the double threshold. These are hard to cut.
Maybe one active volcano. We've got like a lot of fire sites, so I think maybe cutting one active volcano can't be too bad.
Haystack, maybe.
You're probably Haystack as well. I mean, what are we scared of with Haystack? We're probably
Browse, Howl from Beyond as well.
Yeah, even what's her name? Highland Princess as well, so they can't find their ring.
Yeah.
It's not a bad one to have.
Yeah. Thinking about it, it's quite the use case. What do they try to fetch?
Mostly the spiders. They just go for a big turn of pay 7, grab, Gargantula and Root Spider. Archimago's currently playing it with the Cemetery Rat as well. So even at 4 mana, they can grab the Cemetery Rat and the Spider.
We can't really cut any of the double threshold Earth one because we have 2 Gargantula, 1 Pudge Butcher, and even Frontier Settlers at 2 threshold, and they're the minions we want to start with. So ideally, you have one of those in hand, and then one of the fertile Earth. Well, that being said, we don't really have many hard removal like Disintegrate or Be Gone or anything like this. Are we just banking on like player removal rather? Like try to get it's probably better.
I've always found like my greatest tournaments with the Witch have been kill as fast as possible. Don't even worry about what's going on around you, sort of thing. Just find avenues to deal damage and just drain in return. From like turn 4 onwards, you're just draining, and that's the games that you win. Because if you let your opponent build up their game plan too much, you struggle.
You're not playing your deck properly. Yeah, I agree with that. Just shoot. Yeah, ask questions. That's pretty much like that. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Mount Asa Sanctuary on the back of what we just said is a bit too. We really think about Death's Door and all, but if we're thinking about Death's Door, we're not playing the Witch,
Yeah, that's right.
We'll cut that off then. And with that, I'm pretty sure we have our deck. 60 spells, 30 Outlast, 10 Collection. This is looking pretty sweet, yeah. We kept on Crusade. What do you think? We don't really have much. We have Gargantulas and a Parch Butcher that we can just send there.
I think, Gargantulas and Pudge Butchers are... I mean, Root Spiders aren't too bad as well with the Crusades.
But these are more like back row minions, right? Like Gargantula drags, Pudge Butcher drags as well. So they're not necessarily minions you want at the front. So maybe Crusade isn't that good of a spell in there.
Yeah, I think Jihad is definitely the more aggressive of the two, especially in like a majority fire list. Crusade I've found acts as more of a I like to play Crusade half on my sites, half on my opponent's sites, so I can play I can hit for more, but I can also defend with more. That's how I like to play Crusade, and that's how I've sort of found works best. But people play it aggressively as well.
Do we need more card draw? Do we need an Amphalos in there?
I've played like mono fire lists, and my Earth Fire list has had Amphalos played in them. If you stick to the game plan and you just you don't draw your sides, you just draw a spell every turn, you're usually not in a bad position for cards in hand. And unfortunately, if you get to a point where in the game you don't have any cards in your hand, the game's gone too long and you're probably going to lose.
Well, we have one more card to add then, because we got Crusade off. Do we put a third Onslaught? You should play Onslaught. You should give it a try.
I'm going to give it a try. I'm definitely going to give it a try. I'm going to build something very similar to this. And put some Onslaughts in it, and I'm going to see how it goes.
Well, I think that's it. We have a 60 spell, 30 Outlast, 10 Collection. In terms of threshold, we're looking pretty decent as well. 35% of spells, 33% of cost, 33% output. So we bang on. More fire sites, but less output makes sense as well. Well, thank you very much, Matt. That was a great deck list building, and I think this is a format that's pretty enjoyable. I really liked that time. It's pretty fun.
Anyway, thanks so much for having me. That was awesome. I love the witch.
Yeah.
She's definitely still my favorite, even though I play like many different avatars. But she'll always have a special place in my heart. So definitely always happy to talk witch.
We all have that one avatar, and I'm definitely charmed as well by what the possibilities, like the options on the stick like this. You can stall, which usually we don't really use the +1 cost too much, but being able to do damage directly like this without reason, just being min, is great. It's good. It feels good. All right, well, thank you very much, mate. And then thanks, guys. I hope you liked the video as much as we did. And just stay tuned for the next one. This is just the start of the series, so we'll do more like this, introducing our fantastic community member here in Western Australia. We always get together at the Best Count Forge as well. So if you've never heard about the shop, just check them out. Good vibes, always immaculate, good people. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.